What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com. This was actually a Twitter message, and I thought I'd just anonymously read it. This man is stuck in he wants to know, make a video on when you know you're ready to leave the job to pursue self-employment opportunity, mentally, not just financially. And he's a big thinker with bright ideas, but job provides food on the table and security, and that's about it. All right, let's rock and roll with this. The thing is, when I was in 7th grade, 8th grade, I had a dream. I had a dream of playing in the NBA. I'm too short to make that happen. There's certain things you need to weigh with your dreams. Dreams and reality need to intertwine. Just because you have a dream doesn't mean that it is feasible or it is something you can make happen where it actually pays your bills. Now, if your wife doesn't make enough money to support the household, this isn't a good time to go out and give 100% of your time to something that won't pay the bills. What I recommend you do with self-employment is put your toe in the water before doing a cannonball. What does that mean? If you can start it on the side in addition to the current job you are doing that pays the bills, that's one way to do it. And then once you start earning more and more and more, in fact, that's how Doug started Core. He had his day job and then he'd also work Core, build that brand on the side. And that's one way of doing it. Me, I had a wife who I was very fortunate who made enough money to support both of us, and I was able to just jump feet first, cannonball in, and start my first company, no name mentioned here. The company I owned before I started MTS Nutrition, which I sold in 2011. So there's a couple ways to go about it. It's a huge risk, and realize even in the best of situations, if you don't have an investment backer, which I don't like you look at Muscle Farm and how much money they lose a year, the fact that they're a stock nightmare right now. They just had a press release on how they're trying to bring it back. You get that artificial money, you don't learn to operate with no money. I like starting as a guerrilla brand, working from my way up organically. So I'm not a big fan of investors. Now, if you have an investor, what would be factored in the investment is your living expense. So you could pay yourself 60 grand a year, whatever it costs for you to live. Now, if you started on your own, realize that in best case scenario, businesses usually start turning profit after year 3 to 4. So you're lucky to even be able to pay yourself within 3 to 4 years. So when is it right to start your own business? Well, there's never a right time, because 90% of all new businesses fail. 90% of all businesses fail. And this is something that's well documented. In fact, it was even when I was interviewed by Entrepreneur Magazine, that was a statement they put in on their own. So Entrepreneur Magazine understands that this is something that happens. The best time to start a business when you're financially ready to do it, and you've decided if you want to go guerrilla route or you want to go the investment route, and also when you feel that you know an industry. Like the worst thing I ever get, and I've yet to have one brand in my 15 years of being asked this question, make it. Where people will come to me and say, hey, I have this idea for a supplement. And I'll say, well, that's great, but it's not going to sell. And here's why. And I'll be nice and I'll give my time. And they get angry and say, I'll show you, I'm going to make it. It never does. Everybody thinks they have the right idea or the right work ethic. And the reason I say what I said is they come to me asking advice on the industry. They'll be like, hey, who's the top distributors in your industry? Who's this? And I say, if you don't know that, if you're not an expert at the industry you're starting a business in, don't do it. If you're a direct company, like let's say you sell direct to consumer, and you came from somewhere like QVC or Home Shopping Network, and you know that business route, that's great. But if you want to get into our industry and you don't know if you're going to be direct to consumer or a B2B distribution based model, and if you decide you don't know what that is and you don't know who the top 2 distributors within our industry is, you should not start a business. That's just an example. There's a lot of other things, like where to make it, what certifications you need, what government regulations you need to follow, and yada, yada, yada. And you'll see companies you think are doing well, like Muscle Farm. The reason I rescue Muscle Farm is they're publicly traded. I can't go in and see the financial statements for a privately held company that's losing their ass. And then you look at someone who's just going to get fucking piled on by the FDA, by the government, and that's USP Labs, a company that I believe was doing 90 million in profit on 180 million in sales from what I heard through the grapevine. And now they're going to jail. Okay, so, or at least they're in severe criminal, they're fucked is what they are when the government comes at you like that, because they have a case if they've gone that far. What I'm saying to you is, if you know the industry, if you're an expert at it, if you're financially stable enough to do it, go balls deep. If you don't, when I started my first company, I had over 5 years experience in the industry, and I'd also had started a company as a founding shareholder with Sylvester Stallone. And I worked for 4 years at Weeder Publications, working with many supplement companies. Unless you have that kind of experience or even a tenth of that, don't bother. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to this channel. My Facebook /Lobliner, Twitter, Marc Lobliner, Instagram, Marc Lobliner, Snapchat, Marc Lobliner. And I'm gonna link down below. People keep asking when I wear this watch what it is. It's a Swole clock. I'm gonna link it down below. Click on that link, you'll get all the information about this watch. I'm Marc Lobliner, and it's cheap too. It's like 160 bucks. And this thing's huge, it's heavy, and you could beat someone with it. I'm Marc Lobliner, tigerfitness.com, because going balls deep so you don't go out of business, that's not a game.